views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, welcome. I want to welcome you. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Welcome to Transformation Talk Radio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to a whole bunch of things here today because Kelly Ballard is in the house, medium and intuitive consultant, fourth generation medium and intuitive, as well as Reiki master teacher. Has been working with spirit for over 15 years and herself to be the channel between you and that spirit. She is absolutely known for ability to bring those messages from the spirit world, deliver them with a bit of humor, a lot of healing, and as we were just talking about here today, we know how to laugh it up for sure. It's so great to have her joining us here today. Whether we're talking about, experiences between spirit and mediumship, or whether we're talking about how you might get visited in a day-to-day environment. Places and times where you're thinking, that was an interesting thought I had. Or maybe when you're sitting and you're wondering, what is it that I can be more aware of about this situation? All of the above, we then start to look at and think about in our worlds and wonder at some point if we are right there, and pumping it up real time. Today's show is all about that. And so please, everybody, it's so great to welcome Kelly to the show. Kelly, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Pat. I'm glad to be back. Thank you so much.
So I want to ask you, what do you think is the greatest misconception people have about what you do?
Oh, my goodness. I feel like there's so many of them, but probably the biggest one is that this work that I do is scary. And, it's I probably at least once a day I have a client or somebody that asks me if the work that I do is sort of like the movie The Sixth Sense with that little boy seeing like the very gory people. And oh gosh, I would never do this type of work if it was that way. But there's so much fear that I find that people have about, spirits and them coming back to talk to us. And really, every now and then you do get a little bit of a blank stare from someone you might be looking at spirit-wise. Mm-hmm. But, with the exception of that, they have got a wonderful sense of humor. They're very loving, and they push our boundaries in a way that help us to grow and help us to open our minds and open our hearts to kind of that bigger picture that's out there of life and what happens when we transition from this side to the other side. So, I think I would say probably fear and with people is the biggest misconception. And there's no way that I'd be doing this work if it wasn't anything but joy-filled.
I love it. We're opening up the phone lines for those of you out there that would love to connect with Kelly. We have opened up the phone lines for all of you, and one of you out there will absolutely get a free 30-minute phone reading from Kelly. But today during the show, you're welcome to give us a shout in. 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. I want to ask you a question. I mean, you and I, we were joking a little bit and laughing a little bit. I want to ask you, what have been some of the most challenging times you've had channeling? Because, many people along the way, especially when they get started, especially when, they're hearing voices, let's just say, or seeing people or whatever it is that's coming to them, are very, very fearful. But what for you along the way? What were some of the challenges early on? Now, I mentioned you're a fourth generation in this. So I don't know if you had any challenges or you were just groomed to loom.
I think in a lot of ways, Dr. Pitt, my challenge is thankfully for me. I mean, I was 8 years old when I had my very first experience with a spirit. And I'll be honest, that was terrifying being eight. I have an 8-year-old at home myself right now. So I think about him, and whenever he's developing with, spirit and trying to make this as peaceful a process for him and even my 6-year-old for that matter. But I think a lot of the fearful stuff I got out as a little kid, which was nice. And a lot of it was just more imagination based things. But I find a lot of times with my students that I work with that it's really the fear of the unknown. It's a fear of, it's visual stuff mostly with people. I think that Hollywood has done just a crazy job of perpetuating these scenarios of what spirits are like. In our household, we don't use the G word, the ghost word. We call everybody spirits. And I think that even just remembering that these beings are an extension of, it's the soul. It's that the most beautiful, perfect part of what makes up you and I that is in this other dimension, just touching in with us. And I think for me, a lot of it was just trying to know and trust that they would never give me more than I can handle. Yeah. And I think even now in the day-to-day work that I do with clients, some of the toughest things that people come to you for, and whether it's criminal work that I might do, whether it's somebody who maybe lost a child, things that might make other people squeamish, I think that I just sort of let spirit hop in the driver's seat, and they do a wonderful job of just giving me whatever I need to pass on to that client, onto that person, to help them, get closure, to get healing, to find some peace, to get some answers. And I think that the more that you can remove your ego in this process, and the more that you can just, what I say to my students all the time, surrender to spirit, the more that you can just surrender and let them do the heavy lifting, the easier that this process is. And there is no reason to fear any of it.
I want to ask you about a favorite movie. Since we're talking about films, we're talking about not saying the word ghosts. We're coming up on Halloween. I want to ask you your impression, and I'm sure you've seen the movie Ghosts with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. And honestly, I had thought to myself, as I think back about that movie for a minute, if there was a movie that I could pick out which pretty much covered the gamut of the way we see, think, and enact about ghosts, the afterlife, what's good, what's evil, that would be it. Everything from, the good guy coming back to get the bad guy, to the end of the movie where some people went to the good place, other people went to the bad place. And I'm telling you, they jammed it filled in that movie with the many, many things that people really do think about. I want to ask you, did that film help or hurt people that do what you do?
Oh, geez. I really think, Dr. Pat, in some levels, it kind of hurts it because, when I'll say to a client that, I consider myself an active channel between the spirit world and our human existence, the first thing they go to is like, well, are they going to jump into you and is your voice going to change? And I'm like, no. So, again, that it's that fear. But, I work as a physical medium, so I see and hear spirits with my physical eyes, my physical ears. So how Whoopi Goldberg was able in that movie to hear Patrick Swayze's character, that's how I hear spirits. And there's lots of times where I might be talking with a group of students, or I've even had this out in the grocery store where I hear something and I know that it's a spirit that I'm hearing. And it's like taking a moment of being like, wait, hold on, where did that come from? So, it's, it's in some ways there are accuracies within it, but there's a lot that are not. So I say that carefully.
Right, because I mean, clearly, you know, that was one of those things where there was so much jam packed
Oh, yeah.
you know, that particular movie. I want to ask you a question. You know,
Sure.
do people that you work with, I mean, give us an idea of what people are looking to accomplish. Because we're going to talk a lot about this today. For those of you out there, if you'd like to have an in studio reading here with Kelly Ballard, give us a call 1-800-930-2819. What have you been seeing recently with folks that you're speaking with?
There's two common threads that
Yeah.
I've been seeing. One is there's a major energetic shift that's kind of come to an end. And so I'm seeing a lot of clients that are kind of at the end of what they're calling like their rope, and it's reaffirming a little bit of faith in them of like, you've got this is all about clearing, this is stepping into a divine current and trusting right now. So there's a lot of energetic stuff that's happening. And I also notice probably, you know, grief is one of those things that it is always around us. And the primary probably work that I do as a medium are grief related issues with my clients. And a lot of people are coming because they have regrets, they need closure, they need some sort of information, something from those loved ones on the other side. And I try to work with as little information as possible from my clients. So really the only thing that I ask is if there is someone specific they want to talk into, just a first name of the person, because I don't want anything to filter, and I want to receive that pure information, all that insight directly from the source. I don't need other information, you know, people's birth dates or how they died or anything like that. And I think that one of the things that I find with clients is that, you know, what we as humans thought, oh gosh, this person is probably still angry, or they're upset about this, or I never got to do this, or are they okay that I did that? They like, it's so irrelevant to a spirit. And really for them, whatever gives us joy here as humans, whatever gives us happiness here as humans, that's what makes them happy. So, you know, I just was working with a client the other day whose father was a pack rat when he was living and just held on to all sorts of stuff. And she started to go through his belongings. And really at the end of the day, she's like, you know, they don't need a lot of his things. So she was throwing them out. And he went on this whole conversation before she confirmed that to me about how he's saying, it's okay to let the stuff go. Like, I don't even know why I held on to it, and was kind of like, you know, laughing of what he valued as important. And as I was sharing this, she broke into tears and she just said, he's really not angry that we threw that away, or he's not angry that we don't know what to do with this. And I said, listen, at the end of the day, if it gives you guys a peace of mind to go through his things and to recycle them, throw them out, you know, re-gift them, whatever it is, he wants you guys to be happy. And that's really what spirits want. They want us to live the best life that we can here. Sometimes they'll vicariously live through us in some ways, you know, help us in a way of something they couldn't accomplish when they're here. But it's all love-based. It's all joy-based.
Wow. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to the phones. 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, you know, we're going to be speaking with Kelly about, you know, what is this in the world that we are so longing for today? And what happens when Kelly does this work? Spirit guides, loved ones, God consciousness, whatever that is. For more about Kelly, we'll give you her website when we come back. We're taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. Please give us a shout. When we come back, we'll get right to the phones. We'll be right back with the Dr. Pat Show and Kelly Ballard.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit jenroyster.com for more information.
The Women of Wisdom Fall Harvest Festival is coming up right around the corner on October 24th from 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. with free admission located at the North Seattle Community College in the Conference Center. Festivities include a silent auction, healers, educational booths, delicious food, and a variety of vendors. You won't want to miss this fun-filled event. For more information, visit womenofwisdom.org and we'll see you there. A morning filled with dynamic, inspirational music, spirituality, and uplifting messages by TJ Woodward. Come and connect with community conversations and awaken your senses. Awakened Living Sundays with TJ Woodward. Join TJ every Sunday in the San Francisco Bay Area Chapel at Fort Mason and live streaming online 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time. To learn more and access the live stream, visit www.awakenedlivingsf.org.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steppen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
The Doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
You by my side so that I never feel alone again.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's so great to have you here. It's so great to have Kelly Ballard here. But before we jump ahead and we go to the phones, I want to make sure you all have our phone number for live in-studio readings with Kelly, 1-800-930-2819. Kelly, what's the best way for people to find out more about you, to follow you on social media and your website?
Absolutely. My website is reflectiveharmony.com. And you can also check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/reflectiveharmonykmb. And I'm always posting stuff on Facebook. So if you want to be the first to know anything that's going on, you can do that. And you can also sign up for my newsletter on my website or my Facebook page as well.
Awesome. And for those of you out there, 1-800-930-2819. Mr. Benny, who do we have?
We'll take Kristen calling in from Albany, New York. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Hi, Kristen.
How can we help you today?
Well, I had a couple of questions. I wanted to I had some financial difficulties going on, and I wanted to see if you could see if there's any light at the end of the tunnel.
Kristen, as I tune into your energy, there's a couple things that are popping in. One, I keep getting a sense right now that this is a major time for you for clearing and organization. And I'll say this, as you're getting towards the end of November, I think you're going to see having much, much, much more wiggle room financially around you. This last Mercury retrograde, now, I don't do anything from an astrology standpoint, but I can definitely tell you that when we go into Mercury retrogrades, energy changes like crazy. But this last one was very painful for people, and I found that it really had people going into not necessarily a place of panic, but I think a place of feeling lack and feeling not enough. And I feel very strongly for you that this has been a year of kind of transition in the sense of lack. Do you understand?
Yes.
So as you are turning, and I like what they're showing me here a lot, as I'm watching you kind of like steering a car almost, as I'm watching you steering into the end of the month of November. So I'm going to say to you, after we get through Thanksgiving, okay, this is really when you're going to start to see a shift coming in. in regards to kind of watching finances starting to even out, starting to bulk up a little bit. But really, as you get into February of 2016, that's when it's the smooth sailing. So I think that for you, even just seeing yourself turning the tiniest of corners right now, which that's that end of November connection, I think it's going to have you breathing a little bit easier. It's going to have you just your whole kind of mental outlook feeling a little bit lighter, feeling a little bit better. So that for me, I feel great about that. But it's really going to be February of 2016 where you're feeling like, all right, now we're in a groove. Now we're going very strongly here. It's interesting because it makes me feel like this isn't like money that we're winning and this isn't something that's inherited. The money that I feel coming in and evening out for you has a lot more to do with what you're earning and what is due to you and what you are open to receive. And I just keep hearing over and over from Spirit, it is limitless of what you are open to receive. So if you can almost like even adopt a little mantra for yourself of like, bring it on, universe, whatever you want to throw out there. I think something of when we go into these places of fear, I have a little affirmation that I've used for years. And I say, I am full of abundance and always provided for from Spirit. And anytime that I go into a place of fear, and which doesn't happen too often anymore. But that for me was an affirmation that I used that just anchored me. It grounded me, and it helped me to remind me that no matter what was going on, I would always be taken care of. And I think that if you can find something that you identify with, also just to use as from a law of attraction piece to put out to Spirit, that will be very helpful. But they're definitely showing me you've got a nice turning point window between end of November and February. And I do feel like you're also going to start a 2-year cycle, 2000, okay, perfect, thank you. 2016 and 2017, they're showing me of 2 solid years of abundance in which you're recreating your new normal of abundance. And I love that for you.
Do you get the feeling that some of that abundance is coming from a promotional standpoint, or just otherwise?
Absolutely. This is not lottery. This isn't inherited from somebody passing. This is like due to you from hard work in that sense. So, and it makes me feel like it does come from 2 sources, by the way. So it makes me feel as though that this is something that you've put in the effort, you've put in the time, you've earned what is coming to you. And it has a very empowering feel to it. But it's also something that, and I'll say this to you, I love when I have a client that talks about wanting to get a promotion at a job, for example, and they're talking about what they would like to bring in financially. And I always say to them, shoot big. Why not in your mind envision the biggest, promotion financially that you could get? Because even anything a little bit below that big number is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about here. And can we stay with this for a minute if you don't mind, for both of you? Because I want to really give a sense of what you just said and how important this is. There's an expression that I love, and I learned it a number of years ago. I was asked the question, Pat, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose? And those are 2 very different energies. And by the way, if you were watching the Seahawks, you know which one that was yesterday. But, the question is, we get into this mentality where we play not to lose. We don't really play to win. So the idea of shooting for, a large financial amount of any kind is really daunting for people. Can you help us really break through that right now? Because many people will say, yeah, okay, I beefed it up a little bit, but that's not what I'm hearing you say.
No. So, for example, if you had an opportunity to take another position, we'll say within a company, and you knew that maybe the band of pay, it was a $10,000 window between what you're making now and what the top band in that next position would be, why not shoot for that top band? Why not? Why not value yourself enough to say, I am deserving for someone to say, you know what? She is a hot commodity. He is phenomenal. He is fantastic. You know what? If we want to keep him and we want to bring him here, we're going to give him that much. And I say to people, envision your paycheck, envision yourself being like, isn't it phenomenal with how abundant my life is? And, you might feel silly at first while you're doing it. And I find that when people get into that groove, then it's a life changer. It changes your entire way of thinking. But it really goes down to the law of attraction, that like attracts like. You put out, you're going to receive. If you find that you don't have value in yourself and look at that from a financial perspective, then maybe you'll get a couple $100 instead of that 10 grand. But it's looking at the bigger picture and saying, why not?
Exactly. Do you have any other questions for Kelly?
I did have. Well, I don't know from a medium perspective if there's really any a quick question, but I had some things going on with my stepdaughter, and I just wanted to see if you could tune into her energy at all and find out if she's on her way for healing.
And what's her first name?
Abigail.
Abigail. Kristen, as I tune into Abigail's energy, she is a complicated little lady, but with a heart the size of Texas. And it's interesting because I feel like that she's had a lot of people over the years that have sort of manipulated her way of thinking. And I say that to you in the most loving of ways, but I want to be very honest in the sense that, she is very intuitive herself, and she's very good at reading people, but she also, she has a few manipulative people that are around her that are also good kind of taking what she believes and can feel is real and kind of puts a spin on that. Do you understand?
Absolutely. Yep.
I will say this. Yeah, I knew you were going to relate to this. I knew there was something else going on there. She's like, yep, that's it.
I don't know, Kristen, if you have looked into any alternative healing with her, like some energy work at all, but I keep hearing also be very, very selective over who you're letting work on her. And I'm not sure why that is. They're being a little bossy, a little pushy with that, but just a little FYI to keep in the back of your head. But I did feel that there also is an age I don't know if it's this coming birthday or her next one that I felt like was going to be like a big monumental age turning point. And I also saw a lot of emotional growth spurts around her of seeing her starting to really get the difference between like who is coming from a place of love and who is coming from a place of manipulation. Keep just sending the good energy. Keep being supportive. You are doing everything right. Do not doubt yourself for one moment.
Awesome.
Okay.
Got that?
Thank you.
Good to
Thank
go
you very
then.
much.
You bet. We're going to take a short break, everyone. When we come back, we'll go right to the phones. We got calls coming in from Connecticut. How about our Seattle folks? 1-800-930-2819. I'm not sure if you can send your questions in through our instant feedback or if Kelly's got to actually hear you. I have a feeling Kelly's got to hear you, but I'll find out from her during the break. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with Kelly Ballard.
Tell you to run. Well, pick me up with golden hand.
Shine On Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine On Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Has asthma or allergies got you singing the raspy blues? Allergy and Asthma Networks is the nation's premier nonprofit patient-centered network of doctors, caregivers, patients, and healthcare professionals who are dedicated to ending death and suffering due to asthma, allergies, and related conditions. Join President and CEO Tanya Winders each month on the Dr. Pat Show to learn more and visit allergyasthmanetwork.org today. Breathe better together with Allergy and Asthma Network.
Have you been seeing numbers like 111 and 222 everywhere you go? Do you feel that the universe may be trying to get your attention, perhaps offering a message of some sort? As it turns out, numerical patterns and certain types of geometry form the very fabric of our reality, from cells under a microscope to the astronomy of our night sky. At Stellar Reflections, we offer special sessions which tap into these patterns, designed specifically to support you on your journey. The 111 and 222 activations are sessions activating new patterns in your energy field, which in turn can help you create new patterns in your life. After just one session with a practitioner, either in person or via distance, clients report gaining greater clarity, becoming more intuitive, and honoring their inner truth as they move forward in their lives. Curious about what these transformational sessions might do for you? Call 425-999-9836 or visit stellarreflections.com. That's stellarreflections.com.
Well, I would like to hold my little hand.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. We got a couple of really cool things that we're planning for all of you. It's taking us a bit to put it together. And we're hoping we're going to be able to begin this in December. And for those of you that are emailing me about Olivia Newton-John being on the Dancing with the Stars shows, yes, we have reached out to her. We're hoping to get her back on the show. So thank you for asking about that. Kelly Ballard is in the house right now, and we are going to make sure you have her information, because I'm telling you what happens. Kelly she is amazing. And so she gets booked up quickly, and we want to make sure you know how to reach her and reach her like now. Kelly, what is the best way for people to connect with you, for them to sign up, to work with you, to get their own personal readings? How do they do all of that? And then we're going to go right to the phones.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Pat, I do in-person sessions in my office in upstate New York, and I also do phone readings for people all over the U.S. and internationally. They work exactly the same way. You can get in touch with me on my website, which is the easiest way to find me, and that's reflectiveharmony.com. And you can find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/reflectiveharmony, KMB. And if I can, just for a moment, I have on December 9th a webinar that I'm putting together about working with your spirit guides. And we have a few seats remaining in that. And I would love for any of your listeners to have a chance to sign up for that. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, either through your computer or through your phone. And you can find lots of information about that on my website as well.
Okay, so tell us again, how do they sign up for that?
On my website at reflectiveharmony.com. If you look under classes and workshops, I think it's the first or second one listed there. You can use PayPal to pay for your spot in that class. It is going to be phenomenal. We're going to learn how you can connect in with guides. You're going to receive a digital download of one of my guided meditation CDs that will let you work from the comfort of your own home space to connect with those. And I'll actually be giving every student who participates in the class a connection with their own spirit guide. So at the very least, you're leaving with a digital download of a guided meditation CD that I put out, and at least one spirit guide, name, descriptions, why they're working with you. It's going to be a phenomenal webinar. I'm so excited about it.
It sounds exciting. Wow. And this is what we're doing now. We're going right to the phones right now. Let's do it, Mr. Benny.
All right, we'll take Amla calling in from Connecticut.
Hey, welcome to the show. Great to have you joining us today. How can we help you?
How are you?
Awesome. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. I actually listened to Kelly's archive show this past Thursday. So my question today is about past life regression, and I'm really curious to know if this is my last karmic life I don't know how to describe it. Is this the last time that I'm going to be able with this, with the blindness thing? I was blind in past lives, and I know I'm going blind in this life, so I'm just wondering, what's that connection?
Oh, and thank you for listening to Kelly's show. And you know what? This is a great question, because I was thinking about something like this too. Can you explain how this works for this is one of our fabulous Connecticut listeners?
Well, Amla, I'm laughing because you have a very, very funny guide who's working with you. And when you first started to ask your question about, is this one of my last karmic experiences, before you got through it, they were like, oh, heck no, she's got more lives to live. So you have a very, very funny spirit, first and foremost, who is very eager to chat and wants you to know that you still have a truckload of stuff to do here. And your soul in other lives, for that matter. Where the blindness is concerned, this is interesting to me because what I keep hearing in particular is the symbolism of the blindness is all about education. I keep hearing right now. And it's about a part of you using other areas within yourself to be open, to receive, to tune in, to sense. And so I feel like that I am hearing a very loud yes with this, that this is going to be the last life. Okay, thank you. Perfect. This is going to be the last life, they're saying, in which you have to deal with the blindness on any level. And I'm going to say that on a physical level. I'm going to say that also on a mental and emotional level in that sense. And so some of this blindness, they're saying also over time has had feeling duped emotionally. Do you understand?
Oh, absolutely. The last 10 years, heck yes.
So the big thing that comes in with this that I'm hearing, and I love it from Spirit, is the blindness on all levels. We're done with that. We have worked through that. I feel like that you're kind of, Emma, I would say, like, if we could see how much more in this life that you have to deal with the blindness topic in that sense, I feel like you're kind of easing out of that. So you're probably going to see yourself sort of plateauing a bit where that is concerned. I'm a big person. However, I shoot for big miracles in every aspect of my life. So if it is something that you're physically dealing with, you know what, anyone that you can seek out medically where Western medicine is concerned, or even any energetic work, I would still keep doing that. Like, why not, But I am hearing that you're about to kind of plateau, and I'm not seeing things progressing in a more negative direction in that sense, that I feel much more of a kind of a plateauing, manageable energy that comes through.
Excellent. Yeah, and I am definitely, I call on my angels all the time with the white light and purifying myself every night and imagining that white light just cleansing my optic nerve and my retina and my cells, and not only for my eyes, but just, of course, the whole body. So I'm really connected. And it's interesting because it is a miracle, because I wouldn't have been seeking into Reiki or energy work at all if it wasn't for this blindness. So it is a blessing in disguise, because I really appreciate that I could see people inside out. And I've gained the courage to share my story educational-wise. I'm going out there, I'm sharing my story, and saying, you know what, we all have something, and you can be somebody. You already are somebody, but to believe in yourself. And
you know what? And I so love you're talking about this. This is one of the more important messages we can have right now. And I really appreciate this is Pat. I really appreciate you talking about this, because I was sharing this the other day. Had I not gotten really, really sick in 2004, to the point that by the time I was at 2008, I was looking at a wheelchair, right? Had that not happened, I doubt very much that I would have continued in the venue with the radio show. And in 2004, the show was called Crust Busting Your Way to an Awesome Life. And for those of you out there that have been emailing me, yes, Crust Busting is back. We're going to be doing workshops. Go to crustbusting.com. Many of you are thinking, what the bleep is she just saying? But what I want to say about you calling in is that, and Kelly, maybe you can help with this. Sometimes things happen to us. Like for me, I have never been sick in my life, ever. And then I got a mystery disease. And this is what we're talking about today. Does spirit work in these ways to make sure we stay on whatever that path is, albeit painful sometimes, right?
I feel very strongly, Dr. Pat, that no matter what we are going through, and even some of our, most painful trials and tribulations, that there's always a lesson and there's always a bigger purpose behind all of those. It does sometimes take us a bit of time to figure that out and to find that. And when you're knee deep into it, oh my goodness, it is hard to, look at anything but sometimes being in that place of victim, because that's part of being human. But I think that there are these bigger journeys, and whether it's to get us to identify with someone else down the road, whether it's to see something in someone else and say, geez, I wish someone would have told me that, or I wish I would have done this when I went through that. Whatever it is, there's always a bigger lesson. There's always something. I don't believe in a source that puts us through pain on purpose. I've never had a spirit tell me that. It's all part of the experience that our soul comes into this physical body to live.
Mm-hmm. Alma, how do you spell your name? Is it UL? How do you spell your name?
Actually, it's a really great question, Dr. Pat. It's AMLA, but it's pronounced with so Amla. That's my name.
How can we support you in your message and taking your message out there? What do you want to say to our listeners right now?
I just want people to be truly happy with who they are as is. And that's so important for you to just guide. You have guides, you have angels. The answers are there. The resources are there. And the main resource for me was when I was on my hands and knees, and I know you were too, Dr. Pat, and so many people out there have been on their hands and knees. It's like, all I could do was, divinity, please guide me through this. And sure enough, just plucking away in life, it's not going to happen overnight, but you can be everything you want to be. And I'm living proof of it. You are definitely living proof of it. And there's so many people out there who want to share their life and to really help others due to their struggles. And that's what I want to do. Yeah. So.
And you know what? I want you to stay on the line. If you don't mind, Kelly, I would like you to stay on the line. We'd like to gift you a 30-minute session with Kelly.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. Stay on the line and, let Benny get your information and send it to us. Thank you for calling in today. Wow. What a great, great show. Mr. Benny, who do we have next?
Give me 1 second here, Pat. Let's hear Denise calling in from Sacramento.
Hey, Denise.
Hi.
How's
how are you?
Doing?
Good.
Yeah. How can Kelly help you today?
Well, I had a question. Regarding finances, and just to see what she sees coming up or any kind of message we can work with. Both my husband and I are trying to get things started, and it just feels like we've been kind of in a holding pattern. I feel my thing's kind of moving forward with some energy, but he's kind of still, I don't want to say stuck, but just kind of like feels like a holding pattern right now.
Denise, it's so fascinating. I love that you used the word holding pattern, because that was actually, as you were talking, one of the things that I kept hearing over and over from Spirit is you are so much in this holding pattern right now. And here's the good thing about this. You're not entirely fear-based in the holding pattern, but it's more an essence of frustration of, when is something going to give? When are we going to kind of wiggle around with this? And when are we going to move over? Do you understand?
Yes, absolutely.
So here's the big thing that I keep getting. I feel a March-April connection in particular for your husband. And I want to start with him first because his stuff is going to take a little bit longer because his mentality is a little bit different than yours. I joke with some of my students that when we talk about something that maybe we don't, like when you use the word, I don't want to say stuck, why not say it and then cancel it? So for instance, if you're saying, well, he feels a little stuck. What you're doing is you're kind of acknowledging what's going on, acknowledging what you're feeling so that, you're kind of putting it out there, you're not bottling it up, but you're also letting the universe know we're not going to tolerate any more of the stuckness. We're canceling it out. We want the good stuff in. So you're going to see a March-April 2016 connection with him of the financial pieces coming together and momentum coming in around him. And I love that they gave me that word. For you, Denise, you already have a couple wheels that are in motion, and I'm gonna be a little direct with you, but this comes from a place of love, okay? I think that you are holding your momentum back because of empathy that his stuff is not going so well. Do you understand?
I do, yes.
So it's like there's this little bit of the most lovely giddiness that I feel inside of you of like, I can do this. This is moving. This is going. Things are coming together. But you know what? I can't be too excited and I can't be too happy because he's still having a tough time. So I felt very strongly to make sure that you are celebrating this momentum that is already around you and that is moving forward. It's funny because this month I feel like is going to be very, very hot for you in the capacity of making things happen. It puts butterflies in my stomach and gives me like that excited anxiousness of like, let's do this. So I really feel very strong from spirit that you are totally on the cusp of making this happen. Like you are totally on the cusp of blossoming and blooming. Again, husbands is going to take a little longer because we'll say this of the two of you, you're sort of the one that is evolving a little bit quicker and he's like trying to run to catch up with you. So he's going to take a little longer. But you know what? He learns very differently. You are able to kind of put your arms out and have hope a lot more and trust. He is more of a proof in the pudding kind of guy. Do you understand?
Right. As far as pretty much making ends meet, so we're feeling the strain financially and what we have in savings that we're, day-to-day living. Will that ease up, before his momentum takes off? I know he's looking for a job, which is really not his true thing that he really wants to do something on his own, which he hasn't figured out yet, but we're just looking for that paycheck.
That's going to be the March-April connection, the entrepreneurial vibe. That's the March-April connection for him. And at that point, for me, it's like I see him as a well-oiled machine. So even if you find that he takes a leap, let's say in January, and starts to get the entrepreneurial stuff going, I really felt that it was going to be the March-April where I'm seeing him being very fluid, abundant, feeling very confident. As far as kind of, watching the financial pieces increase before then, again, I keep going back to this October energy with you. I think the abundance is going to come in from you first. And I think that, it's, I don't want to contradict my shooting big here because I'm all about that, but I'm going to say this here. You're going to, realistically, I think that, and again, this is because your husband's energy is wiggled into this here. You're going to see some good stuff coming in this month for you that's going to have you breathing a little bit easier. And that's going to have you looking at kind of your accounts and saying like, okay, we're good. We got this. Right. But again, it's like he's got to let go of a few of those fear pieces. Now, we all have free will. So if he is able to do this way sooner, then bring on the abundance. Like the universe will adjust all of that and help shift and move. But I would say still shoot big. Why not? But it's, I think that little the feeling of scarcity and lack comes in with him. So if there's a way that he can change how he's thinking, that's really where things are going to start to evolve for you guys.
Awesome.
Okay.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you. Mr. Benny, I know we've got people waiting. They're just calling in like crazy here. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll travel out to Redmond, and we have Marnia joining us. Sorry about that.
Marnia, did we get that right, Marnia?
It's hi there, it's Marina, Marina.
Sorry about that, Marina.
That's what we want, Melina. Awesome. How can Kelly help you today?
Oh, hi. Good morning, Kelly. I was wanting, Kelly, to see if you see a change here for me in finances, money, career.
Boy, today is the money day. Goodness gracious. I love the abundant energy. Melina, there's a couple things that come through right away here. It's interesting to me because I keep seeing you on a teeter-totter right now. And I'm seeing you that you start to get into this space where you're trusting, and feeling like, you know what, I'll be okay. I've got this. It's confidence. And then all of a sudden, something very, very small kind of almost sends you into this tailspin. And I feel like it takes you a very, very hard time to sort of get kind of on that, like, that low part of the teeter-totter, kind of getting you off of that. So I see you right now that you're influenced very easily and kind of trusting, and then, going into this place of fear. I feel ultimately for you, as I'm kind of looking around at everything here, as I get towards the end of this calendar year, so I'm looking at end of December, beginning of January, I feel a shift coming in for you financially. It's going to be a lot of baby steps, though, because what I keep hearing from Spirit is part of this is also retraining the way that you look at yourself, the way that you look at abundance, the way that you look at your own life. So it's going to take a little bit of time just to get you kind of into a new groove. I read somewhere that it takes 30 days to get us into a new habit, to get us into a new way of thinking. And I feel like if there was a way for you, okay, perfect. Thank you. Spirit is saying, if there's a way for you that you can almost like give yourself like a 30-day abundance challenge, where 30 days, you really, really focus in on attracting in the good stuff, attracting in, whatever it is that you're needing. I think that that's going to help you make this shift. However, they are showing me that as we get towards Memorial Day of 2016, that's when I'm seeing you breathing easier. That's when I'm seeing you really seeing everything finally coming to a head. So some baby steps moving into a good direction, coming end of December into January of 2016. But this is really a lot of this is going to have to do with you making a major commitment to yourself of changing your way of thinking, changing the way that you look at value and worth.
Awesome.
And, I'm going to be actually taking a test here in the next couple of weeks. Is that going to go well for me?
I'm not worried about that even remotely. It was as soon as you said I'm going to be taking a test, it was very funny because I kept getting, I know you're not literally getting an A+ on it in that sense, that I keep seeing it's more graded by numbers. Do you understand? But they're giving me a big red A+, very, very loud right in front of me. So I see you really surprising yourself at how well that you're doing on it. And it's a number that you need to get on it. You'll be very, very pleased. I see it putting you at like the top of, I don't know if you're being placed in okay, sure, thank you. They're telling me, okay, I feel like you're being placed into a pool, and I'm seeing you kind of like standing out in that pool. So whatever you are getting on this, it is giving you a beautiful leg up.
Oh, good.
All right, there you go. Thank you. Wow. I think we have a couple minutes left. I don't know, Mr. Benny, Kelly, do you think we have time for one more? We have about 3 minutes left here.
It's in a quick one.
All right. Barb from Linwood, welcome to the show.
All right.
Hey.
Can we help you with 3 minutes?
So we're not going to do finances. We're trusting them. The love of my life has been ill and not stepping into relationship yet, and has had me on hold for 2 years. Is he finally going to be well enough to step in and share life with me?
And did you say Barb? Is that correct?
Yes.
Barb, okay. Barb, here's what's really, really interesting about the image Spirit just gave me. I see him in a cocoon right now, and he is in a major, major place of growth and in a major place of self-evaluation, reflection, and evolving in that sense. It's interesting because you have been more patient than I feel like most people in your position and in your shoes would be, because there's an internal drive inside of you that I feel like is just kind of saying, like, I need to still be present. I need to be here. I need to go through this experience. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And you may have days and you may have moments where you might question yourself while you're going through this, but it's something internal, a bigger connection there. I felt very strongly that end of January, beginning of February, they're showing me on a calendar here, is going to be very significant of watching him starting to break through that cocoon. And, if you think of like a monarch butterfly, like breaking out of it, and how at first, you start to see just little pieces like popping out and cracking out of this cocoon. It's going to be a slow process, but the beauty that comes out of it and the positive stuff that comes out of it, no matter how small the baby steps are, you are going to know that you guys are ready to transform, ready to evolve the relationship in that sense. And it's going to be worth the wait for you.
Awesome.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for a great show. One more time, let folks know how they can join you for the webinar and sign up for their own personal readings. And thank you for today.
Oh, you're welcome. And you can reach out and find me on the web at reflectiveharmony.com. Easiest way to sign up for my newsletter, to sign up for any of my classes, webinars, or to schedule an in-person or phone reading. They work exactly the same way. I read for people all over the United States and internationally. I'd love to connect in with your guides, your loved ones, to give you some insight for this wonderful life that we're living.
Oh, thank you so much. For those of you out there, we're not done yet. Get ready for the Missing Kennedy, Rosemary Kennedy. Fabulous book, Elizabeth Kohler-Pentecoff. We'll be right back. And Kelly, you rock, honey.